right, whatever. Hey, good morning. It is I, your host, Poco Kiddo, with yet another episode of Redstone Lapis Lazuli. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I have indeed survived yet another week. Oh, yes. Look at the glorious mountain. I'm using Defined 1.18 for my texture pack for the visuals for the PBR. Yeah, this is like pretty much the reason why I bought a new computer and a new video card, so I could get these beautiful graphics. Look at this beautiful, beautiful scenery. Like it just looks so good. Like, yeah, and then you come down to like, oh yeah, what I worked on. Hey, all my work, all my work. Sort of. I mean, like I kind of messed up by going creative mode, but then again, I wouldn't have gotten it done if I didn't go creative mode. Like this would require a lot of people working, not just one person. It would have taken me too long to do all this by myself, like in survival. But yeah, but oh god, it looks so good. They're getting better and better at this, making it look nice. I mean, yeah, it still needs work. There's still some issues, but it's pretty good. I mean, it's improved a lot. There used to be a lot of light flares, where lights would randomly like flare into existence, and now it's a lot smoother. Now there's none of that. Wah. And the reflections look a lot better. They don't smear nearly as bad. Before they would smear all over the place. It'd be like tracers. But no longer. Now it's just crisp and clear. Yeah, they can work on the clouds. The clouds are kind of weird. But it's looking good. So what a week, huh? I want to like I haven't done anything further with this molten salt reactor because I haven't really been playing. I've been playing a lot of this other game called Apex Legends because I got a new legend who's a sniper, and it's so much fun to snipe. That's all I've been doing, just being a sniper and just killing people from very, very far away. It's fun. Anyways, so I haven't done a whole lot of work on this. Plus, I had to do some research. I had to look, and I'm like, why would I be talking about molten salt reactors unless like I was pretty confident in what I was saying. Like it's you know. Now I'm not brand new at the whole idea of the molten salt reactor. I first found out about it back in 2013, 2012. I found out about it when I was living in Nevada, and it was really, really exciting to me because I understood then that Las Vegas had a water problem. I was watching in 2012 already Lake Mead getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and Las Vegas not having enough water. And then I thought, why, what can we do about this? And then I found out about molten salt reactors. And then I found out that you could use molten salt reactors to desalinate water very, very, very efficiently, much more efficiently than you can do with fossil fuel reactor or fossil fuel desalinators. Also, I learned that Las Vegas has a lot of groundwater. There's a ton of groundwater around Las Vegas. The problem is the groundwater is no good. It's brackish. It's dirty. It's got salt in it and crap in it. So you would have to desalinate the water, the groundwater you get from Las Vegas in order to use it, which a molten salt reactor does. Like that's what it's for. It's perfect for desalination. Then I did a Google search, and I found a Google had scanned a book, an excerpt of a book. I can only get an excerpt of it that said that there had been a study done about groundwater reclamation for Las Vegas. That's where I found out about the brackish water, and they looked at all the various ways of desalinating it, and the thermal desalination was the preferred method, the best method. The problem was that it was very energy intensive. Well, if you have molten salt reactors, there's your energy. There's your intensive energy. So I had this great idea to design a prototype molten salt reactor in outside of Las Vegas, where they wanted to build that thing anyways. they could use it to desalinate groundwater, and we could build a rail line from Las Vegas to Los Angeles to the port of Long Beach to ship anything you need to ship there. That way, Las Vegas would also get a rail line. I had this great plan. And I even lobbied in front of the Nevada State Legislature, a committee on high-level nuclear waste. They totally ignored me. Some like environmental group like not only poo-pooed the idea of Yucca Mountain as a repository, which is you don't want to do that, but they also poo-pooed the idea of a molten salt reactor because they didn't understand it. They never understood what it was. Like, Americans have this knee-jerk reaction to nuclear power, that it's a bad thing because they only know one version of it. They only know one version. So yeah. But you have to understand, there's many ways to skin a cat. There's many ways of doing nuclear power. And the way we do it now is not with light water reactors, is not the only way. And I didn't build it, so I can't show you what I'm talking about. That's my bad. I didn't build the reactor, so I can't explain it to you. And I don't know why I have to do it anyways, because you can go online and watch a video where people do that anyways. But maybe I can explain it in a way that they're not doing it right, and in a way that they're not quite getting it. Anyways, my whole idea was to and the thing is that what makes it so exciting to me is that it's not a new idea. It's an old idea that never got finished. It was never done because of politics. Richard Nixon was the president, and his man, I have to go look it up, but his man wanted to do like a liquid metal fast breeder reactor. And it didn't work. But no one could tell him any different. And he had friends in Richard Nixon and other rich people. And their idea was, they didn't care about which one was better. All they wanted was to make sure that their friends made money. So the friend who had a bunch of contacts with construction people and had materials, and the friend who had a bunch of contacts in Southern California, hooked up with the politician who had a lot of clout in Southern California. And they didn't care what the science said. All they wanted to do was make sure they got paid. So they fired Alvin Weinberg, who was the guy who invented the molten salt reactor, and who was the lead proponent, and who was the person who was going to bring it to fruition. They fired him and brought on this other guy to make a liquid metal fast breeder reactor, which failed because it's super complex. The whole point of it is you want to make it as simple as possible. The more complexity you add, the more possibilities for failure. The liquid metal one was super complex. That's why it didn't work. It was too complex, real complicated. The molten salt reactor is going to be dead simple. It's going to be dead simple. So when I build it, I can like show you. I haven't built it yet. I don't know. I don't know why. I guess I'm kind of overwhelmed with everything going on. There's like a lot of stuff going on, like with the Donald Trump thing. Like, yeah, Donald Trump. Okay, what's the thing? They realized that all the boxes Donald Trump stole were full of U.S. state secrets, and that Donald Trump was probably intending on selling those secrets to foreign governments, or he was going to use those as blackmail, saying, if you come after me, I will give these to foreign governments. Okay, so it's a big horror show, right? It's horror show, but this is something I've known about for like months and months and years now. So I'm kind of like numb to it, I guess. Like, I'm glad everyone else is like figuring out that Donald Trump was a traitor, that he sold us out. I'm glad everyone's starting to figure that out now. It took me like how long? How much shit did I eat before people figured it out? Like, but yeah, so that's happening. That's good. But like, then there's this war in Ukraine. Why is there a war in Ukraine? Because Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Donald Trump, instead of giving Ukraine the weapons and reassurance it needed, Donald Trump instead extorted Ukraine for his own benefit and for the benefit of his friend, Vladimir Putin. Because you can bet if Donald Trump tried to extort a friend of Vladimir Putin, Vladimir Putin would not approve, and then Donald Trump would not do it. So Donald Trump did not try to hurt anybody associated with Vladimir Putin. He only tried to hurt people associated with the United States. Yeah, Donald Trump is a real bad person. And Biden finally used the F word. Biden called them semi-fascists. He wouldn't even commit to the whole thing. He called them semi-fascists. No, dude, they're fascists. They're Nazis. They're fascists. They're trying to overthrow the government. There's this whole list of there's this whole list of Americans who got PPP loans. You know those loans meant for businesses, and then it was like billions and billions of dollars lent out. $400 billion lent out. And a lot of those businesses, didn't pay back the loans. They just got them forgiven. They were just written off by the government. The government's like, here's $400 billion. Never mind. Don't pay us back. A lot of people, a lot of Americans took that money, that PPP money, then had it forgiven by the federal government, and then the next year used that money to travel to Washington, D.C. to overthrow the very government that gave them money and then forgave it. Let them borrow money. They tried to overthrow the government that gave them money and then forgave the money they gave them. They used that money that was given to them to overthrow the government that gave them the money. I mean, like, forever I've been telling people this. Like, it's like, you can't work with these people. Look, you try to help them and they'll overthrow your government. They'll overthrow you for helping them. So let me see what we got here. I'm not really in like a super awesome mood, I think. Filters. We work on this filter here, so I don't have like a thing in my forehead. Filter, chroma key, less forehead stuff, please. Thank you. Okay, close. All right, here, check it out. So I'm not really all that prepared. There's just been a bunch of stuff going on. So the big news is debt cancellation. Biden forgave student debt, and he did it in a tricky way. He did it in a way that said if you were poor and had to take Pell Grants, then we'll forgive more loans for you. So it's in a way, it's sort of like a means testing. Like it was pretty tricky and it's kind of complicated, but whatever. It's done and it's working. And that's the important thing. So that, I think, like a couple years ago, people were saying that it was impossible, that Biden could not do it. He absolutely could not do it, didn't have the power to do it. And then here we are 2 years later, bam, it's being done. I remember years ago people saying, "Oh, we can never have universal healthcare. It's impossible." But I look around, and of the 33 most prosperous nations on the planet, 32 of them have figured out how to provide their citizens with healthcare. There's only one nation, one of the rich nations, of the 33 rich nations, only one of them has not figured out a way to provide healthcare for their citizens, and that is the United States. Oh, I wanted to tell a story. Okay, I'm gonna tell a story. And it's gonna rely a little bit on Judeo like well, it's a story from the Jews. The story is the Adam and Eve story. The Christians use it, and then I think the Muslims use it too. So, but everyone knows the story of Adam and Eve, right? Everyone knows the story of Adam and Eve. Well, if you don't know it, let me tell you, because not everyone knows the story. Not everyone's a Christian or whatever. Not everyone grew up with it. So here, according to this story, in the beginning, the world was like, it was just the world, and it was a beautiful, wonderful paradise. It was the garden. It was a garden, and everything was perfect in this garden. Everything was perfect. And Adam and Eve were the first humans. God made all the creatures and all the stuff, and Adam and Eve too. And they were living in the garden in Eden too. And then God came around and said, "Okay, Adam and Eve, all this stuff is yours. All this is great. You can do whatever you want, rah, 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 except for this one tree right here. You see this tree here? This tree right here? That tree is called the tree of the, well, that tree is the tree of knowledge. You cannot eat from the tree of knowledge. No eating from the tree of knowledge. Do not, dame. Interdit. No. So la, time goes, but eventually, what happens? But the humans eat from the tree of knowledge. Eat from the knowledge. It's not just the tree of knowledge. It's specifically the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Before Adam and Eve ate from the tree of knowledge, they did not know what is good and evil. There was no duality for them. Like it was never even thought about that there was ever even a distinction that could be good and evil. Because you can't have good without evil, right? It's necessarily duality. It's necessarily. So Adam and Eve ate from the tree of duality, of the knowledge of duality. And because of this, they were expelled by God from the Garden of Eden, from the garden, from this perfect paradise. And then they had to go into the world and suffer. And then it's not because God made them, but it's because they made themselves leave by eating from that tree. Once they knew the difference between good and evil, they could no longer stay. It wasn't that God made them, it was that's just the way it is. You did it, so you have to leave now. It's not like you have to leave. It's like by doing it, you've already left. By eating it, you've left. Okay. So the thing that made the big bad that Adam and Eve did was to know about good and evil. All right. Now, we have another story in America, in the United States. In the United States, we have a myth saying that if you work real hard and really put your heart into it and you're really good, you can become anything and do anything. So there was a guy named Colin Kaepernick, and he he worked real hard, and he put his heart into it, and he became a quarterback for an NFL team. It was amazing. It was the fulfillment of the American dream. He proved that it can happen. He was a living embodiment of the fact that anyone can work real hard and succeed in the United States. But then Colin Kaepernick did something that was an unforgivable sin. He knelt. But it wasn't the kneeling that did it. What was he doing? He was bringing attention to the awareness of black and white, of race relations, about how black people were getting murdered by police in the United States over and over again. Now, what made Adam and Eve leave the Garden of Eden was their awareness of the knowledge of good and evil. They could no longer be innocent animals in the Garden of Eden now that they knew about good and evil. So what Colin Kaepernick did for America was to make them aware of the difference between black and white. And by doing so, America could no longer remain in the Garden of Innocence. You could no longer pretend you didn't know the difference between black and white. Colin Kaepernick committed a sin that made Americans aware of white supremacy. That is his sin. That is the great sin of Colin Kaepernick, to make Americans aware of white supremacy. Because they destroyed him for doing that. He lost his career. He lost, he could no longer be the American symbol of work hard and you can do anything. Because Colin Kaepernick brought awareness to white supremacy, he had to be destroyed by white supremacy. They had to get rid of him. They had to kick him out, which they did. They got rid of him. Because he was bringing awareness to white supremacy, they had to get rid of Colin Kaepernick. I look at Adam and Eve as the same way as I look at Cain and Abel. Like, it's a story that gets misinterpreted. Like, Cain and Abel, I like the idea that, that book Ishmael from not the Talking Gorilla. I like how it says that the story of Adam and Eve, or the story of Cain and Abel, is actually a story about how agricultural tribes killed and enslaved hunter-gatherer tribes. I'm like, oh, okay, I see how that works. Then I take that same kind of logic and I apply it to Adam and Eve. So, but I want to make it a little more defined. The story of Adam and Eve is about how humans, I want to say that the story of Adam and Eve is how humans discovered fire. Because before humans had discovered fire, literally there was nowhere else you could get energy. Like, no other animal was using energy the way humans were using fire. Like, it utterly transformed humans. And it let them spread all over the planet. Fire allowed humans to spread all over the planet. And it separated humans from animals. Because, again, no other animal uses fire. No other animal has command of energy that humans do. Because fire is energy. If humans can control a form of energy, that's something that no other animal can do. And that separated humans from animals. And fire also represents reason. I think with fire, humans started eating better and developing better brains and being able to think better. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to say that animals are not intelligent. I don't want to say animals aren't conscious. I don't want to say that. But the difference between humans and animals is that humans can operate energy, fire. And that changed everything. That's what separated humans from everything else. That's what kicked humans out of the Garden of Eden. Fire. Still works. This is like a great thing. I made this all in survival too. Survival. But see, the thing is, I need friends to play with, because like this is kind of like for myself. I don't need this. I don't want to. All right. Okay, fire. Humans. So Donald Trump must go to prison because look at. Ooh, hey, look at this. Reality Winner. Do you remember Reality Winner? Reality Winner was a U.S. federal government worker, and she is the one who discovered that the Russians had interfered and influenced and fucked with our elections. And I think it's gonna be a lot more than people want to realize. The United States will never admit it, but the Russians fucked with our 2016 election and got Donald Trump elected. And they did so because Paul Manafort handed over to the Russians detailed information about how the Democrats were going to operate in their campaign strategy and their information. So like, well, that's how they got it. They hacked in, I think, and Paul Manafort handed over a hard drive full of data to a Russian spy. Anyways, we wouldn't have known about it unless Reality Winner here leaked the document to the press that told everyone, hey everyone, guess what? Russia has interfered in the 2016 election and got Donald Trump elected. She's the one who let us know about that. If she didn't tell us, we wouldn't know. Because she leaked this document, she stole this one document and leaked it, she went to prison for 5 years. Donald Trump stole like at least 15 boxes, not just one paper, but 15 boxes full of stuff at a way higher clearance level than what she got. And he's not in prison yet? How is that even equal? How is that even fair? What's good for the goose is good for the gander. So, and you know what the penalty is for treason, right? Under U.S. law, federal law, the penalty for treason is death. Donald Trump executed 13 people when he was president. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. All right, what else do I got here? Finland is trying to get people to move to Finland, to immigrate to Finland. Look how cool Finland is. Their prime minister has gotten in trouble because there's all these pictures of their prime minister partying, going on to parties. Like, check it out. There's like models at her house, like kissing and like flashing the camera at the prime minister's house. Models at the prime minister's house are going around flashing each other and kissing and like, move to Finland, they say. Welcome Finland. Welcome to NATO. Awesome. How cool, dude! I want to go to Finland now. What great people! Look how cool they are. Do our politicians do that? No, our politicians are freaking Nazis who try to overthrow the government. We don't have cool politicians like Finland. Jeez, man, Finland, they're cool people. Holy crap, they really know what's up. They really know what's going on. God. Yeah, Finland's great. Check them out. Okay, what else have we got going on? Kurt Vonnegut. So Kurt Vonnegut is an author. He wrote the last letter he ever wrote. I got this from Jackie, and here's what it says. Dear Xavier High School and Miss Lockwood and Messer Perrin, McFeely, Barton, Morer, and Conglesta, I thank you for your friendly letters. You sure know how to cheer up a really old geezer in '84 in his sunset years. I don't make public appearances anymore because I now resemble nothing so much as an iguana. What I had to say to you, moreover, would not take long. To wit, practice any art, music, singing, dancing, acting, drawing, painting, sculpting, poetry, fiction, essays, reportage, no matter how well or badly, not to get money and fame, but to experience becoming, to find out what's inside you, to make your soul grow. Seriously. I mean, start right now. Do art and do it for the rest of your lives. Draw a funny picture or a nice picture of Ms. Lockwood and give it to her. Dance home after school and sing in the shower and so on and on. Make a face in your mashed potatoes. Pretend you're Count Dracula. Here's an assignment for tonight, and I hope Ms. Lockwood will flunk you if you don't do it. Write a 6-line poem about anything, but rhymed. No fair tennis without a net. Make it as good as you possibly can, but don't tell anybody about what you're doing. Don't show it or recite it to anybody, not even your girlfriend or parents or whatever, or Ms. Lockwood, okay? Tear it up into teeny-weeny pieces and then discard them into widely separated trash receptacles. You will find that you have already been gloriously rewarded for your poem. You have experienced becoming, learned a lot more about what's inside you, and you have made your soul grow. God bless you all. Kurt Vonnegut. Yeah, that guy's cool. And yeah, what he was describing about writing a poem and then not telling anyone and then tearing it up and disseminating it. I mean, if you want to get all arcane about it, if you want to go like dabble into occultism, uh, yeah, and some might say that the um uh, effectitiousness of the technique is something that requires direct experience. I recommend it, is what I'm saying. I recommend it. um, what else we got? Nearly 90% of benefits will go to borrowers earning less than $75,000, and none to those earning more than $125,000. Share of cancellation dollars received by borrowers out of school. So basically, the vast majority of it went to people making less than $75,000 a year. In other words, the poor, the poorer people. A little bit of it went to people making a little bit more than $75,000 a year, but nobody who made more than $125,000 a year. So no rich people got money meant to help. No one got their loans forgiven that didn't need it. Unlike the people who got PPP money and then went to overthrow the government with it. Jeez. Conversely, you know that tax cut 2018 when the GOP cut taxes for the yeah. So remember when I did that? Oh, I don't have it here. I showed you that the 2018 tax cuts by the Republicans cut taxes for the wealthy. This is how you see how the benefits worked out. If you made more than $75,000 a year, 85% of the benefits went to you. If you made less than $75,000 a year, you only got 15% of the benefits. So the 2018 Republican reconciliation tax bill primarily helped the rich people. That was the purpose of their deal. What's this one? Oh, that's funny. If guaranteed housing, free healthcare, and a job guarantee and free education are so bad and anti-American, why are those the main selling points military recruiters use to get you to join? Right? Oh, man. So here, as we know, Republicans are Nazis, right? They're fascists. No, Republicans are fascists. Here's a Republican from South Carolina. Let him tell you about the results of his fascist vote. Right? He's a Republican. He voted for this. This is exactly what he wanted to happen.
I voted for the pain capable bill, the fetal heartbeat bill, and fetal heartbeat has been for 6 weeks now.
This is what he wanted.
The second week that the fetal heartbeat bill became law, a doctor called me out of Anderson. I live in Easley. A 19-year-old girl appeared at the ER. She was 15 weeks pregnant. Her water broke. And the fetus was unviable. The standard of care was to advise her that they could extract or she could go home. The attorneys told the doctors that because of the fetal heartbeat bill, because that 15-week-old had a heartbeat, the doctors could not extract. So their only choices were to admit the 19-year-old until that fetal heartbeat stopped. I asked, how long does it take to stop? She said seconds, minutes, hours, maybe days. Or discharge. They discharged that 19-year-old. The doctor told me at that point there's a 50% chance. Well, first, she's going to pass this fetus in the toilet. She's going to have to deal with that on her own. There's a 50% chance, greater than 50% chance that she's going to lose her uterus. There's a 10% chance that she will develop sepsis and herself die. That weighs on me. I voted for that bill. These are affecting people, and we're having a meeting about this. It took that whole week. I did not sleep.
Yeah, dude, that's exactly what you wanted. That's what you wanted, right? That's what Republicans want. They want dead moms. They want dead women. Republicans want dead women. That's what they want. Dude got what he wanted. He voted for that. That's exactly what he wanted. That's the outcome that he wanted. Whether or not he knew it, that's what he got. That's Nazis. That's Republicans. That's fascists. Though that's fascism. Dude is a fascist. He's telling everyone about the results of his fascism. But he's a fascist. And everyone who votes to take away the rights of women to their own bodies are fascists. Then you think, well, wait a minute. Why don't they just vote out someone different? Why don't they just vote someone different? Because, and then I tell you, because gerrymandering. You think like a state like Alabama, right? Or Louisiana. Here, Louisiana, a state like Louisiana, right? You would think, why don't they? There's like a lot of black people in Louisiana. Why don't they have like control of the government if there's so many black people in Louisiana? Like Alabama, there's so many black people in Alabama. Why don't they have control of the government there? Then you look at their map. That's why they don't have control of the government, because because they concentrated all the black people into one district and then drew the lines in such a way to make it so that they picked that the fascists got control of everything else, because the fascists used gerrymandering to steal government. Same thing here. Fascists use gerrymandering to make sure that the minority, the smaller number of people can have majority control of government. That's how they do it. It's not because these people are dumb. It's because they're under control of white supremacy. Think of it this way. Confederates, who are smaller in number than the Americans, nevertheless get to draw the lines. So here, I can maybe pull one up like Jerry. Yeah, that one. It didn't. No, what am I doing? Yep. So, for example, the red population is over here. The red population, right? This is the state. This is the whole state, right? That's the whole state of Louisiana. But the red population is lesser in number than the blue population. There's more Democrats than there are Republicans. But the Republicans draw the lines. So they draw the lines to pack all the Democrats into two districts. And then they spread out the rest of the Democrats into three other districts, 1, 2, 3, to keep them as weak as possible. And that way they can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 1, 2, 3, 4. Red, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. Red, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. Red. That's 3 red districts to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 0 red. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 1 red. That's 2. So that's how you get a state that's majority blue to be under control majority red. That's how you do it. That's what this is. That's what this is. That's exactly what that is. They crammed everyone, all the blue, into one area and then spread out the rest so that they win. So it's minority rule. It's a Confederate government. So they're white supremacists. They're fascists. They're fascists. Roger Freeman, a key educational advisor to Nixon, then working for the re-election of California Governor Ronald Reagan, spelled out quite precisely what the conservative counterattack was aimed at preventing. We are in danger of producing an educated proletariat. That's dynamite. We have to be selective on who we allow to go through higher education. If not, we will have a large number of highly trained and unemployed people. The two most menacing institutional sources of the danger described by Freeman were obviously those two great public university systems charging no tuition, the University of California and the University of New York. Governor Reagan was able to wipe out free tuition at the University of California because that was their danger. Republicans can't have educated people because educated people ask questions. And when you ask questions, you reveal white supremacy. And remember, they don't want you people revealing white supremacy. That's a sin. You can't to them, that's a sin. So during a stop in Kentucky on Thursday, McConnell conceded that the House has a better chance of flipping red than the Senate, a statement that, while in line with election forecasts, shows just how concerned Republicans are in becoming about races in the upper chamber less than 3 months before the midterm elections. I think in the lower chamber, I think there's probably a greater likelihood that the House flips than the Senate, McConnell told reporters when asked about his midterm expectations. Senate races are just different. They're statewide. Candidate quality has a lot to do with the outcome. In other words, you cannot gerrymander. You cannot gerrymander a Senate race the same way you can gerrymander House races. In a House race, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you put here in this area because they're going to vote for the Republican. Oh, wait, you can't see it. In a House race, it doesn't matter who your candidate is running in this area because they're going to get elected anyways because of the way you drew the lines. You're guaranteed your wins here. These are locked in. So your candidate quality doesn't matter. You could run like QAnon people and it's okay. They'll get elected. But for Senate races, you can't do it because the Senate is cut. The state is cut into two. You can't gerrymander a state cut into two. Like if you cut gerrymander one side, then you lose the other side. Yeah. So your candidate has to actually like be able to stand on their own in a Senate race, and they don't have anybody in the Senate who can do that. I mean, they don't have anyone in the House who can do that in the Senate. That's so they can't win the Senate race. That's why they're focusing on the House, because the House is more about controlling the individual state legislatures. If you control the state legislatures, you get to draw the lines and pick your voters. And so that's why it's important for McConnell that Republicans control a lot of state houses to make sure that Republicans choose the people who are going to go to the House of Representatives. They can't do that with Senate races, only with House races. Okay, what else do I got? I don't know. I'm pretty tired, I think. I just want something, yeah. I've been doing this for a long time. I don't know if I get enough feedback. So it feels like I'm like pushing into nothing. Got to keep supporting Ukraine. In fact, I think we need to start. Okay. Oh, that's the thing. I remember Russia took up military positions next to an old-style nuclear reactor in Ukraine. That's crazy. That's crazy. They're threatening to. That means Russia can shoot missiles at Ukraine, but Ukraine can't shoot back at Russia, or they'll hurt the nuclear power plant. So that's dirty pool by Russia. And it only can work because the power plant is a light water reactor. If you do a molten salt reactor like this, like that won't work. You can't do that because these molten salt reactors you can't blow up. There's nothing to blow up here. You can't blow up anything. The worst that can happen is the molten salt will leak out, and it'll stay in this area and then cool off and turn solid. That's the worst thing that will happen in a molten salt reactor. There's no meltdown, right? It's not gonna melt down and melt through the floor. It's gonna stop there. But a light water reactor will blow up, and then the reaction runs away, so you can't control it, and then that's when it like becomes real bad. So we have to get rid of light water reactors because they're dangerous, and we have to help Ukraine by giving them long-range missiles to defeat Russia, because Ukraine is kind of also like a warning to China. China wants to do to Ukraine or to Taiwan the same thing that Russia is doing to Ukraine. So we need to deter China from attacking Taiwan. The way you deter China from attacking Taiwan is demonstrating the effectiveness of defense systems, Western defense systems. And you do that by providing Ukraine with these defensive systems so they can take back control of their own country and expel the Russian invaders. When you expel the Russian invaders and you force Russia back into its own borders, at that point, it will turn on itself. The fascists will turn on itself and start eating itself. And that's when the Russian Civil War starts. But you have to push it out of Ukraine first. And you do that by providing them with really good stuff. Long-range missiles, so they can hit targets way in the back. I remember in the beginning I talked about how Russia was gonna was playing as if they were still in season 4 of PvP, World of Warcraft PvP. What was it, season 4? Yeah, it was season 4. It was the Outland. It was all about burst. Like burst. You just burst down people, blow all your cooldowns, and kill them as fast as possible. In season 5, they introduced the idea of resilience. And at that point, if you tried to burst people down, you would just lose all your cooldowns, and they would still be there laughing at you. And then you have no cooldowns, and then they kill you. So that's what happened to Russia. Russia tried to burst down Ukraine by blowing all its cooldowns right away. And it didn't work because Ukraine had resiliency. So now Russia blew all its cooldowns, had no more cooldowns, and Ukraine is coming back. And it's going to wear down Russia because Russia doesn't have any resiliency. It's not resilient. Russia's not resilient. So, but we have to continue the support. We have to keep giving Ukraine heals. Basically, what we're doing is we're giving them heals. We have to keep healing them so they can keep standing against Russia. And then China is going to look at this and be like, yeah, we better not touch Taiwan. Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's just keep it nice and peaceful in the Pacific. Because I see China building all these bases on all these islands, and I hear that they're trying to dissuade ports from accepting our ships for refueling and stuff, which is kind of weird, China. Anyway, I think that about does it for me. I gotta drive, go on a long trip today, and yeah, and think about stuff. I had this great long thread on Twitter about how you can use molten salt reactors to desalinate water. Um, but it's kind of stupid for me to tell you about it if I can't show you in Minecraft. So I guess I'll do that next week. I'll work on this over here and then show you next week so I can explain it better. And maybe Donald Trump will be indicted then. Who knows? Who knows? Things are so crazy nowadays. Like I don't even know anymore. Until next time. Pogo Kiddo out. Peace.